Well, hello there.
Hello there.
It was so great to see Ezra Bridger himself, Emanis Fundi, in Spider-Man Brand New Day. You know, a lot of people have been talking about how relatable this film is, and it's true. It's always such a sad day when Ezra steals your girlfriend from you. But I have to say it's a shame that his character didn't get a proper name. He's just credited as the boyfriend. Considering this film had so many Star Wars references, I was expecting his character's name to be a play on Ezra, or Jabba the Hutt, because that is his true name, of course.
Jabba the Hutt.
But did you know that Aman filmed his scenes during his off days for Ahsoka Season 2? That's the current word on the street. I'm so excited for Ahsoka Season 2. I know you guys are as well, and I'm so excited to see Ezra work with the New Republic, all the while continuing to train as a Jedi. But today, my friends, we've got some very interesting news. We're going to begin with one which is cross-franchise, so it doesn't only concern Star Wars, it's about the one film that everyone's talking about at the moment, but it does have some very important Star Wars implications. And then, my friends, we're gonna dive into some more predictions for D23 Expo. I don't expect much, but since my last video, some other outlets have chimed in, and I really want to talk about some of the films which were announced during Kathleen Kennedy's era, but were never followed up on. So a lot to discuss. If you're not done so already, make sure to hit the big subscribe button down below, ring the bell for notifications, but no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. So, I'm not a Marvel channel, I'm not a Sony channel, but Spider-Man Brand New Day is pretty much unavoidable at the moment. Everyone and their nan is talking about it, and it just keeps breaking box office records. For the first time in a long time in the streaming age, my friends, it feels like the cinema is back. And it came oh so close to toppling Avengers Endgame for the best domestic box office weekend of all time. And you might be wondering, well, how does this relate to Star Wars? Well, my friends, because of the success of Brand New Day, it just booty blasted The Force Awakens further down the top 10 grossing list. Force Awakens is still in 5th place, that's still amazing. But it'd be great to see some more Star Wars on this list. Over to Starfighter, that was my very first thought. A bit like The Phantom Menace, you had to be there to see it. Episode 7 was a global sensation. 11 years on, it was in 4th place. But I have to be honest, and I'm sorry if this sounds too negative, but seeing all of Spider-Man's success just makes me think that Star Wars needs to make a huge pop culture resurgence like this. I want to see sold out cinemas again for the galaxy far, far away. It's not even about box office records at this point. It's about general excitement and anticipation for Star Wars. It was once the greatest, most popular franchise you could imagine. If there was a Star Wars film in cinemas, everyone was flocking to go. But just look at what happened with the Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm hoping Star Wars Starfighter is going to be different, and I still have faith that it's going to do better than Mando, but can it get to the popularity of something like Brand New Day? What's it going to take for Star Wars to get back to a point where every single theatre seat is sold out? You see, and you guys know this, I enjoyed the Mandalorian and Grogu. I thought it was a lot of fun, but when I went to see it opening day, I was sat there with only 4 other people in the entire room. We went from fans kissing the ground as they come in, to performing lightsaber fights in front of the screen, and shouting when the fanfare started, to just a tepid reaction to Star Wars films. And I remember looking around thinking, well, maybe the later sessions will be a bit busier, but I didn't just see it once, and I have to tell you, every single time, there were no more than 10, maybe 15-20 people in there. And yet for Spider-Man Brand New Day, I had to wait 2.5 days to find a single screening that had a free seat. And my local cinemas are never usually packed. It wasn't sold out for episode 8, episode 9, but with Spider-Man and even The Odyssey, good luck buying a ticket. They were all sold out. Even the random matinees on a weekday. And you might say, well, you know, you're comparing apples to oranges. Star Wars is in a very different situation at the moment. You're damn right, and that's the problem. I want to go back to a time where Star Wars was a full-on event. You would go see it with your family, and again with your friends, maybe 2-3 times, and you'd be talking about it for the rest of the year. But there are a couple of important caveats. For one, Spider-Man is doing well, in spite of the state of Marvel at the moment, not because of it. Also, Spider-Man films have a history of doing well. In 2002, with a 13-day gap between releases, it managed to beat Star Wars. That was the year of Attack of the Clones, and while both films performed really well, Spider-Man came out on top. Episode 2 grossed around $649 million globally, whereas Spider-Man 2002 grossed over $800 million. But you know what, my friends? I have hope. I do. I have faith that Star Wars will bounce back, even if it takes some time and planning and changes, but I'm just pointing out the situation as it is at the moment, and I just want to see Star Wars go back to this level of success. I know they can do it. The only question is, How should they do it? Every Star Wars fan has their own opinion about this. Some people say the answers are in the expanded universe, others want Disney to erase the sequel trilogy, which is probably never going to happen. And one of the most popular opinions is that, a bit like Brand New Day, we just need one banger. A Star Wars film to bring fans back, something fresh, with new characters that could set up the future of storytelling in this franchise. Could it be Starfighter? Fingers crossed. You've heard me talk about this time and again, but there's one thing Dave Filoni really needs to do now that Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down, and that is to properly roadmap the future of Star Wars. And we shouldn't have this information through various creatives, or through media outlets, or a random rumor from Jeff Snyder or anyone else. I'm talking about either at D23 Expo or at Star Wars Celebration, Dave Filoni taking the stage and laying down where Star Wars is headed. Because at the moment, in terms of future content, we have a few disjointed projects, but no unified vision. If you convince fans you actually have a plan, we'll finally have something tangible to be excited about. And something else they have to do, something which they should have done months ago, is to officially scrap any announced Star Wars projects that never made it into production. All of the ones indefinitely delayed from the Kathleen Kennedy era, get rid of them. The James Mangold movie is pretty much dead at this point. Who knows what's going on with the Rey movie, the Taika Waititi film, the Lando flick, even freaking Rogue Squadron. The mere existence of these projects and their uncertainty is both haunting and harming the Star Wars brand. Be done with them. Until those are officially canned, Lucasfilm will not be able to turn over a new page. Because at the moment, and I know it's early days, I know Obi-Wan would say to be patient, despite the change in leadership, Lucasfilm just feels like the same company under Kathy, the same philosophy, the same attitude, the same approach, and the craziest thing is that Dave Filoni's not given a full interview as Lucasfilm president yet. I would have thought that would have been day one. There were a couple of comments from him and Lin-Win Brennan on StarWars.com at the time, but no full interview, and no clarification on where Star Wars is headed. As a fandom, we deserve to feel like our passion, our time, our money invested is something the company cherishes, is something the company is using as a drive. And I'd love to be mistaken. I'd love for there to be lots of things behind the scenes and it's just a matter of time until Star Wars is well and truly back. But how else are we supposed to feel at the moment? There haven't been too many wins. I come from a place where I'm saying that I want Star Wars to thrive. So TheDirect.com actually made an article talking about all this stuff, and they specify the movies they think are most at risk. And the first one is Dave Filoni's Mandoverse crossover film. Now the issue with this prediction is that Dave Filoni is the top dog. He's the Lucasfilm CEO, and if he wants this film to be made, then as long as Disney says yes, it's gonna happen. I think their apprehension comes after the Mandalorian and Grogu. Would Lucasfilm and Disney really want to take the same chance again, only for this film to flop as well? The thing is, by all accounts, this movie would be nothing like the Mandalorian and Grogu. It would have Ahsoka and Thrawn in it, for one thing. Instantly that renders it higher stake. Also, Dave Filoni's already teased that he has quite a bit of it mapped out, and it's going to bring together Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, and the Mandalorian. And because Ahsoka Season 2 is coming out next year, I doubt this is one of the ones that's going to be scrapped, in spite of some of those rumors that were circulating a year ago. Then they say James Mangold's Jedi Prime. I definitely agree with this. Even if it's not Mangold, I would still love to see a Star Wars film set 25,000 years in the past. Then they say Taika Waititi's movie. Again, it's one of those that was very close to going into production, but then there was the shake-up at Lucasfilm, and everything changed. They then mention Rogue Squadron, and this is a strange situation because I'm convinced they adapted some of the early concepts for that film, for Star Wars Starfighter by Sean Levy. And finally, the Rey movie. Funnily enough, this actually drew some of the loudest cheers at Star Wars Celebration in 2023. When Daisy came up on stage, there was quite a bit of excitement. The script for the film though was never quite settled. It went through several writers, and now despite Daisy Ridley's insistence that the film is still gonna happen, we've heard no official word. So like I said, with these films which are kind of up in the air at the moment, either cancel them or make them. It's no fun being a Star Wars fan and you've been told certain projects might happen, but you have no idea if and when, and then out of the blue, like they did with Mando and Grogu, they announce a different film. So it's time for them to lay down the plan. But those are just some of my thoughts, my friends, as well as a bit of news. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you always.